I never know how to start these. Dear Diary. Sounds too formal. Hi, Notebook. Might be a bit too flippant, so I'll get to the point. I'm sorry for not starting this log earlier. Truth be told, I didn't feel much reason to. I'm not having the best of time here in the Forbidden Lands, and there's nothing that quite excites me. And I find most of the people here irritating. Maybe save for a few in the Astrum unit. I really miss Celiana. I want to go home. My wishes have seemed to be half-granted. The frigid cold of the Ice Shard Cliffs is both a welcome reprieve from the oppressive heat of the plains and the basins, and a very nice reminder of home. To add to my delight, a very powerful monster known as the Jindahad has been spotted, and I've been paired with Olivia, a very capable hunter from the Astrum unit, to take it down. I must say, out of the new monsters that we've come across here, this one has to be my favorite. The Leviathan puts up a great fight, freezing anything in its range with powerful, icy jets, slamming its impressive, bladed body to deal quite the blow. Olivia and I make quick work of the beast with her hammer and my switch axe, but not before it coils up, charging its inner heating elements. From what I understand, this is how the monster discharges its built-up heat to regulate its temperature. This almost seems like a supernova, something that's typically done by elder dragons, though. No time to think about that, as I bring down an icy rock for us to hide behind. While shielded from the blast, Olivia remarks, grinning with the look of respect, "You've done this before, huh?" I like her. It's nice to fight alongside another veteran hunter. And between our blows and banter, the great Leviathan falls with a loud crack of his cranial ice plate, just as I've cut off the tail. Perhaps this place can be fun. I know at least one monster is. Oh, journal. The cliffs continued to surprise me in the best ways possible. It started with odd sightings of Blangonga. There were some that seemed more aggressive than usual, seemingly dripping with this ominous purple fluid. Possibly some kind of venom? There are Nursilla around here, but poison wouldn't necessarily cause the uptick in aggression. My mind wandered to a very curious wyvern that I met Kamura, a blind beast that stalked the shrine ruins. No, surely they can't be here too. Can they? And, oh journal, to my immense joy, my question is answered in this frosted wonderland. Roars echoing through the cavernous halls, wing arms splayed out, and the beast rears up. There he is, Gormagala. I cannot tell you how exciting it is to see a familiar face, even if it's not very happy to see me, or even able to. The Black Eclipse is as formidable as I remember, punching with its powerful wing arms and dishing out balls of frenzy virus that linger on the field. It's impossible to not get hit, but I don't mind. The adrenaline rush from the virus is a great help for trading blows with the beast. And as it falls into a heap of black fur and scales, I'm struck with the realization, if the Demi-Elder was prowling this part of the world, then certainly, for sure, its adult form will take roost in the cliffs too. The fully fledged Elder Dragon, Shigaru Megala. I don't know whether it was the virus amplifying my feelings, but let me tell you, the pure, unadulterated joy I felt from realizing that an elder may appear soon, and that I get to fight it again? Oh, journal, I nearly passed out. I may have judged this land too harshly. This time I was surprised by a different region, namely the ruins of Wyveria, or rather the Dragon Torch Shrine within the ruins. Wyveria has an interesting history of creating these construct monsters, artificial beings. It's somewhat clever, I'll admit, despite how jarring it is to see this ersatz Anjanath. What was I saying? Simulacra and simulation? Perhaps I'll return to the philosophical musings of copies upon copies later. For now, though, Journal, I need to tell you of this thing that we found. Gestating within the Dragon Torch Shrine was, well, it certainly looked like a dragon, though I can scarcely call it one. The construct had a similar body composition to the Megalas, what with the giant wing arms, but it's a pure white color. I couldn't tell whether it was skin, scales, or some sort of hair-like fiber, but that was about to be the least of my worries. True to its artificial nature, the beast does not sound like an animal. Rather, it sounds like this horrid cacophony of reverberating screaming and laughter. Weirdly, I can still hear it ringing in the back of my head. Once again, this would prove to be the least of my worries. No, the thing that had me concerned was when the beast moved. It would scrape its forelimbs and wings and slam with its tail, not unlike the way Sharish, Valda, and Safijiva would. I know that wyverns tend to share those attacks, but you have to understand the way it did those things. It was incredibly, nay, uncannily similar, and, dare I say it, Journal, while this bothered me, it is not what shook me to my core. This construct made two more moves that pushed my thoughts from uncanny similarity to a more certain, frightening familiarity. It made a biting charge, thrusting its whole body forward, and reared up on its hind legs to vomit fire at its feet. I've seen this before. I've fought this before. There's no way that this thing is mimicking that eldritch horror of a monster. I've gone up against the Black Dragon. And let me tell you, there's no feeling that's comparable to the primordial sense of dread that consumes you when looking into those dead, crystalline eyes. Eyes that contain unfathomable eons of hate and malice. I thought I left that back at Shrade. Left the armor back in my room in Celiana. Locked away. I couldn't bear to put it on anymore. It changes you. Your mind is not your own in that skin, and at times, not even your body. So, Journal, tell me why this makeshift dragon is imitating that abhorrent monstrosity, and not just this one, but the other black dragons too. What with the exploding ice chunks from Alatreon, the crackling red lightning from White Fatalis, and the meteorites from Crimson. And then, dear journal, this is where my stomach sank. The beast molted. First its head, but eventually every single part. And what I saw was terrifying. This is a construct of amalgamated black horns and flesh, all mangled and twisted, scarcely held together by the white fibers containing it and the blue connective tissue. Oh. This is not a wyvern construct. This is an imitation black dragon. The rest of the fight, despite being absolutely thrilling, was admittedly a blur, and all I can remember was sitting on the floor of that cavern, staring at the tattered flesh and artificial blood oozing from the wounds, and thinking, but why make a construct of a black dragon? What were the people of Wyveria fighting that pushed them to make something like this? And journal, despite already knowing, I did not want to answer those questions. It's been a while, journal. I'm sorry for that. Things have been calm since the battle against the construct, which they're now calling Zoshia. Other than the appearances of Lagaikris and Mizutsune in the forest, not much of note has happened. Well, I say that, but there is a reason why I'm returning to put my thoughts down. You remember how I said that Zoshia was originally created as a defensive measure? But we weren't sure for what exact purpose. I mean, I have my own thoughts on the matter, as you know, but we made a discovery that may clue us into what Wyveria was dealing with. In one of the more remote regions of the oil well basin, we spotted a Gogmazios, of all things. You cannot imagine my excitement, journal. I've heard so much about this species of elder from the more veteran hunters in the guild, but I've never been able to go up against one of them. It's even more beautiful than described. A deeply vibrant blue hide, stained black with glistening tar, powerful, near skeletal wing arms that send shockwaves through the ground, searing plasma beams, and face-melting heat. Now that was a proper fight. Curiously, the one we fought didn't have a Dragonator stuck to its back, but rather, it had some sort of archaic rail cannon lodged in the tar. We managed to get a hold of this piece of weaponry during the siege, and thanks to the talents of the engineer from the Astrum unit, Werner, we were able to hook it up to this weird power supply. And my Gog, this thing was able to fire a plasma beam to rival Gogmazios, and it was certainly a spectacle to behold. I should remember to thank Werner later. Maybe I should chat with him more. He seems fun. Speaking of fun, the siege got even more exciting once Gogmazios fled to the upper levels of the basin. It started leveling more aerial attacks at us, and at one point showing us its impressive supernova, flooding the field with fire and explosive tar. I may have singed a part of my hair in that fight, but let me tell you, it was thrilling. This is a wyvern worthy of the title of Elder. Back at the Gathering Hub, I was chatting with some of the other 5th Fleet hunters who've joined this expedition. They pointed out that it makes sense to create a construct that deals both fire and dragon element to combat Gogmazios. I nod. They're right. But I still have my suspicions. A bit later, I was chatting with Eric, the biologist from the Astrum unit. I appreciate his zeal for exploring and his passion for understanding the world around us. It provides some much needed optimism to counter my more jaded cynicism. I like having him as my handler. We were both discussing our observations on Gogmazios, coming to a similar conclusion, though I expressed my concerns that perhaps Zoshia was created to fight something stronger than an elder dragon. And although Eric seemed to worry a bit at this statement, his unrelenting optimism never let up, and he expressed more so excitement at the thought of encountering a new monster. He's a very sweet boy. I hope he never has to come face to face with it.